We be alright some more time 네가 모르는 밤을 지나서 왔지 So we be alright some more time 흐르는 땀은 식을 줄은 모르지만 곧 나른하게 될 거야 편하게 잠이 들게 될 거야.
Jirisan is the biggest and oldest national park in South Korea. It is also the highest mountain on the South Korean mainland because the taller volcano Hallasan is on Jeju Island. Now the thing about Jirisan is that the most popular way to summit the mountain is by doing the Jirisan Ridge hike, which starts at an easily accessible point and crosses the entire mountain range from west to east. Here's the problem. I was working for a Hagwon, and because my Hagwon was using me for 3 separate companies and levels, I had no control over vacation days. And unless you were trail running through an entire day cycle, the trek would take around 3 days to complete and would require you to stay in the shelters on the mountain. I couldn't miss work, but I knew I wanted to summit the highest peak of the range. I found an alternate route that approached the peak more directly from the south, but all of my map apps couldn't figure out how to get me there. I also couldn't drive because my license expired, and I learned through being in Korea that the state of Utah only lets you renew your license remotely every other time. I was still in the process of wasting money on long-distance calls to the DMV and wouldn't give up until the end of summer. But renting a car was not an option for me because of this. The highest peak of Jirisan is called Cheonwangbong, and on a Friday in June I took the subway in Daegu to Seobu Bus terminal where I took some buses to arrive at a hotel in the city of Jinju that winds around the Nam River. I was a little nervous because the only details I could find about the bus I was going to take was from a picture of a sign posted on a blog from a decade ago. This was the first time that I would head to the mountain on a Friday instead of a Saturday and tried to summit on Saturday instead of Sunday because I knew this would be a long and tough hike and I knew that there was a chance I wouldn't be able to find transportation out of the area. The next morning I took the bus to a small village outside of the border of the national park. I was pretty happy with how close I was able to get to the trailhead, considering Naver couldn't even figure out how to get me there. So I did my prep and began walking the 2.5 kilometers through the village and towards the national park that would lead to the trailhead. I still had no idea how I was going to get home, but I hoped everything would work out in the end.
오늘은 지나가게 될 거야 괜찮아지게 될 거야 다시 뜨거워졌지 봄이 되긴 멀었지 지구는 돌아가고 난 반대로 길을 걸었지 앨범이 나왔고 사람들은 귀를 열었지만 달라진 것 없이 무대 위에서 난 여전히 요즘은 내가 빠져 아파티가 돼 더 이상 맨정신에 주말이 아깝지 않네 누가 성공이 여유를 가져다 준다고 했을까 할 일이 너무 많아 내겐 휴가도 가혹해 결국엔 또다시 정답 없는 문제 앞에 쉽게 번 돈은 옷에 묻은 꿀 같아 주머니를 비우고 네가 모르는 밤에 날 눕혀줄 침대가 납득할 만한 답을 찾네 똑같아 지금의 나를 꿈꿀 때와 2017년의 나를 살고 있는 24시간 다시 찾아온 여름 안에서 난 내게 또 한 번 말해야겠어
Yeah, we'll be alright Summertime 네가 모르는 밤을 지나서 왔지 So we'll be alright Summertime 흐르는 땀은 식을 줄은 모르지 곧 나른하게 될 거야 편하게 잠이 들게 될 거야 오늘은 지나가게 될 거야 괜찮아지게 될 거야 Yeah, yeah, we'll be chillin' alright, alright 지금은 깜깜해도 it'll be alright 어제보다 행복하면 돼 now 말처럼 쉽진 않지만 그래 보자 겨울 뚫고 summer came by 또 시원해질 거야 Don't you worry I'll be alright Alright now yeah.
다시 또 나는 여름에 다시 또 굳이 열을래 시간은 있다가도 없지만 시원해지려면 하나 가지고 열을래 yeah. 가야 해 난 집으로 아쉬워하지만 안 없어 내일 입으로 난 내가 걸은 만큼만 딱 그만큼만 쉬다 갈 거야 주말이었던 주말은 그만 지구는 돌아 yeah. 지금 잠에 들게 되면 몰라 yeah. 구석 끝까지 몰아 그 끝에서 난 구멍을 팔 거야 We'll be alright 시라고 하는 게 괜찮아질 거라고 반복하는 내가 전혀 식상하지 않아 이제 진심을 말하고 있잖아 We'll be alright summertime 네가 모르는 밤을 지나서 왔지 So we'll be alright summertime 흐르는 땀은 식을 줄을 모르지만 곧 나른하게 될 거야 편하게 잠이 들게 될 거야 오늘은 지나가게 될 거야 괜찮아지게 될 거야
Don't you worry
We'll be alright
about a thing
Summertime
Cause every little thing
yeah.
is gonna be alright ma Don't you worry
yeah.
about a thing Cause every little thing is gonna be alright
That's close.
We'll be alright Summertime 네가 모르는 밤을 지나서 왔지 So we'll be alright Summertime 흐르는 땀은 식을
I had no idea that I would run into a special experience that would be a one-of-a-kind for me in Korea. I had always wanted to hear one of the great bells, and I heard it ringing when I was still far off from the temple, and the sensation was incredible. I would feel this lingering reverberation in my chest long after the bell rang. I had always wanted to see the temple bells in action, so I hurried a half-K to the temple so I could see it happen, and wow. Well, I did make it off the mountain, but it was a bit crazy. Unfortunately, my GoPro died, so all I've got are some pictures. It took a long time to make it back down, and this wound up being my first time hiking alone at night because I couldn't beat the sunset. I spent about 90 minutes on the trail in total darkness. Shouts out to the Korean National Park Rangers who met me near the end. It was a hot summer day. I mean, I had gone through 6 liters of water. That's 12 water bottles. And so I was super fatigued and sore. The ranger who found me ended up spraying my knees with a coolant spray. He was asking me if my legs hurt, and I was like, yeah, they really hurt. And the coolant spray made me think of the phantom pain. And then he sent me off with a whiting. I made it to the national park gate and was super hungry, but everything was long closed except for the 24-hour automatic vending machine where I got my coffee before the hike. So I drank 3 matcha lattes and mentally prepared myself to stay inside the vending machine for the whole night. But another woman came down from the mountain late. She knocked on someone's door and they brought her some food and called their taxi friend to come talk to her. When the taxi arrived, she started stressing out because it was going to be expensive to get to the city where hotels and things would be open. So I approached and offered to pay half of the 240,000 won, or about $200, to take us on the more than 1 hour ride to Jinju. Again, shouts out to the taxi driver for taking a huge trip in the middle of the night. It was expensive, but I was grateful that I was able to get to the city and didn't have to try and sleep in the vending machine. I also learned the words for full moon, borumtal, because the moon was looking gorgeous and I was trying to explain to them that I was excited about the super blue moon. In Jinju, I got food, and because my clothes were so soaked in sweat they were crunchy from salt, I bought a full set of the convenience store clothes that always made me laugh, but hey, they came in clutch. Also, big thanks to the Puradak chicken operators who let me stay in the restaurant even though I was a mess, and gave me a service coke because they saw that I was a bit strung out. Then I turned into my motel, ate dinner, washed up with my little mountain bath bombs, and went home the next day. Oh, and also the duck bop I got from this restaurant by the station before leaving was insanely delicious.
We'll be alright, some more time. 네가 모르는 밤을 지나서 왔지. So we'll be alright, some more time. 흐르는 땀은 식을 줄을 모르지만 곧 나른하게 될 거야. 편하게 잠이 들게 될 거야. 오늘은 지나가게 될 거야. 괜찮아지게 될 거야.
Don't you worry,
We'll be alright.